A man collapsed, while millions prayed. The world stood still as he lay, his teams around him, shocked and scared. They played for millions, but backed by billions. From Northern Europe, but cheered by the world. Red, white, Danish dynamite. After being knocked out of the 2018 World Cup by eventual runners-up Croatia, Denmark under Age would enter Euro qualifiers. They would finish second despite being undefeated. The team produced quite a few notable performances, such as coming back from 3-0 down against eventual group winner Switzerland, but in the middle of the qualification campaign, the COVID pandemic hit, and the tournament was postponed by a year. Harede would not get to manage the team during the Euros, as his contract expired in June of 2020, and he was replaced by Kasper Hjulmand. The managerial change seemed to get Denmark going though. They scored 6 against Gibraltar in one of their last few Euro qualifiers, and later went on to do fantastic in World Cup qualifying. Having been drawn into a group with Belgium, Russia, and newcomers Finland, there was a lot to look forward to. I already went through this in a previous video, but Denmark's opening match against Finland did not go as planned. And that's putting it mildly. Eriksen collapsed in the middle of the match but was thankfully revived and stretchered off. Credit must be given to captain Simon Kjær, who was one of the first to rush up to Eriksen, put him in a recovery position, consoled Eriksen's girlfriend, and organized his team into a wall to give their teammate privacy. It's because of his actions and those of the medical team that Eriksen is still with us today. In a beautiful moment of unity, the fans also chanted Eriksen's name in solidarity with someone who just barely escaped the clutches of death. In that moment, flags and competition didn't matter as they came together in a moment of difficulty. Finland would go on to win that match after a controversial restart just hours later. It would be their first victory in a major international tournament, and while that's an amazing achievement, it'll be haunted by questions surrounding the Danish players' mental states. After all, their friend had nearly died before their eyes. The next match against Belgium got off to a dream start as Yusuf Poulsen gave the Danes an early lead. However, Kevin De Bruyne led a second-half comeback to secure all 3 points, and yet again Denmark is met with a loss. On the other side, Russia scraped past Finland 1-0. To advance to the knockout, Denmark needed Belgium to beat Finland, and for them to win against Russia by at least 2 goals. The odds seemed stacked against Denmark. Denmark, knowing what was at stake, sought to defy the odds against Russia. 39 minutes gone, Mikkel Damsgaard scores an absolute screamer, 1-0 Denmark. 59 minutes, Poulsen latches on to a defensive error and scores, 2-0. Denmark now had the lead they needed, but not all was well as Belgium and Finland were still in a scoreless deadlock. Things would only get worse as Russia won a penalty in the 70th minute and converted it, bringing one back. But only 2 minutes later, the dream was alive again as Andreas Christensen blasts a rebound into the net. 3-1 Denmark. Then, more good news filled the stadium as Belgium finally took the lead against Finland. Denmark would add one more before full time, winning 4-1 and qualifying for the round of 16. I think this is a good time to talk about the team Denmark were fielding before going any further, so here's the main 11. Under Hjulmand, the team started as a 4-3-3 formation, but later shifted to mainly using a 3-4-3. At goalkeeper, we have a mainstay, Kasper Schmeichel. Son of Peter Schmeichel, the Danish #1 was again at his usual best in this tournament. The defense was led by Christensen, Kjær, and Vestergaard. Christensen and Vestergaard acted as the towering ball-playing defenders, while Kjær anchored the backline, providing the commanding presence of a captain. On either side of the midfield were the wingbacks, Stryger Larsen on the right and Mæhle on the left. Mæhle in particular really shone in this tournament, reaching the team of the tournament. In midfield, Denmark had Pierre-Emil Højbjerg and Thomas Delaney. Both defensive midfielders, Delaney was the primary ball winner while Højbjerg acted as a deep-lying playmaker, and the two combined to keep Denmark's midfield ticking. On to the forwards, and the mainstay here was Mikkel Damsgaard. The young Sampdoria man stepped up in Eriksen's absence and became a star player almost overnight. Meanwhile, the left wing was occupied by Martin Braithwaite. The Barcelona man, I know, wasn't the most outstanding player in this team, but still played his part. Finally, the attack was spearheaded by Kasper Dolberg. Though he didn't really play until the knockout stages, the knee striker contributed 3 goals and was the other Dane to secure a spot in the team at the tournament. Fielding this team, Denmark was ready to take on the knockouts with the whole world cheering for them. Denmark would start by thrashing Gareth Bale and Wales 4-0 in the round of 16. On to the quarterfinals, and they would face another dark horse, Czechia, and the Danes prevailed 2-1. Next in the semifinals would be their biggest challenge, England. Even though Denmark took an early lead, the English rallied back and eventually won the game through a controversial extra time penalty. So that was it. Denmark were knocked out, and England would move on to the final. That's when karma kicked in. Although they weren't able to claim the ultimate prize, it doesn't devalue Denmark's story at all. To be met with a first-day tragedy like that and still pull through, reaching the semifinals of the Euros, it's no small feat. Not to mention, that goal they scored against England, that was the first goal England had conceded all tournament. After the Euros, Denmark would go on to qualify for the World Cup, and they were terrible. In the next Euros, Denmark would go winless in the entire group stage, but somehow still make it through in the second, where they were knocked out by host nation Germany. And after that, Hjulmand resigned from the national team. Now, I don't want to speak for all Danish people, but I feel like he'll have a special place in Denmark's hearts. For leading the country through such a tragedy and still writing one of the best underdog stories of Euro 2020, I mean, it's something special. Not to mention, Eriksen came back and continued his international career, so, I mean, it's a win-win. So yeah, not the most spectacular underdog story, but still, a special one. Thanks for watching. I'm flying to Japan tomorrow. Now, I was gonna make a Chelsea video before I flew to Japan, but you know how it goes by now. Chelsea, in the time that I'm gone, Chelsea will probably sign about 200,000 different players for 7 quintillion pounds. Just normal numbers, really. So maybe that'll wait for after I come back. But anyways, if you like this video, like and subscribe, follow my Twitter, yada yada yada, and I'll see you next time. Take care.